I'm really excited to bring you this video about Nike Discos and Air Max shoes. The ShoeZeum was all about going back in time through shoes, and Nike got its start in 1972. It wouldn't be right to go back in time into the 70s without paying a little bit of homage to the disco. And of course, way back in the day, Nike made a shoe that was called the Disco, and it was meant for dancing. In this video, I want to show you an original pair of discos, a couple pairs of retros that Nike's been calling the Night Track. We're also going to talk about an original Air Max 1, and then we're going to look at the evolution of the Air Max 1 into the Hyperfuse Disco Edition. This video is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into it. Come over here and have a look at this Nike Disco. So back in the day, this shoe was made for dancing at Studio 54. And one of the cool things about this shoe is that the outsole actually has no tread at all. And it's got glitter designs in there in that amazing red sole. The reason why there's no little waffle nubs or anything like that on this shoe is because it was made for dancing and moonwalking. So you know Michael Jackson had a pair of these shoes. In the ShoeZeum, there was a picture of Michael Jackson and David Hasselhoff rocking these kicks on display behind this vintage pair. This shoe is so cool with the metallic silver upper. Even the laces are glittery and metallic silver. You gotta love them. And recently, Nike retroed them, and they're calling the retro the Night Track NRG. Come on over here and have a look at the retro pair. NRG stands for Nike Research Group, and it's something that Nike puts on their limited edition sportswear releases. This pair, reminiscent of the discos, like I said before, is being called the Tailwind Night Track NRG. The reason why they're calling it a Tailwind is because the upper of the shoe is very similar to the Nike Air Tailwind, which was the first pair of Nikes to feature air technology. The Night Track, the Studio 54, the Disco, here's one of these shoes with a whole lot of different names. Let's look at another pair of retros, the blue ones. These are very, very, very rare. They're a collaboration with Colette, a European boutique, and they're so limited. I mean, there might be like 20 pairs of these shoes in the whole world. These are a size 11, very, very tough to find. I bought them for almost $1,000, and I was so happy to get my hands on this limited edition retro to reunite with the red retro and the OG pair. I mean, this right here is all of the different disco editions. Back in the late 70s and 80s, they never made the disco in blue, only in red. And of course, just like the red pair, we've got no traction on the outsole and glitter. Wow. I mean, talk about going back to the 70s and early 80s. There you have it. So from the 70s, let's go to the 80s and to the Air Max 1. This is the original pair of Air Maxes designed by Tinker Hatfield, originally released in 1987, and it's the first pair of Nikes to ever feature a visible air window. This shoe changed the game for sure. It was inspired by the Georges Pompidou Center in France, and that building is clear and see-through, and you can see the technology working in that building, and that was Tinker's inspiration for the visible air window. He wanted Nike buyers to look right at the shoe and see the technology. From the original pair, I want to look at 6 pairs of retros. Let's have a look at the back row. And we're going to start over here with a couple pairs of retros that look just like the OG pairs. Here's the white mesh with red. Here's the white mesh with blue. But in this video, what I really want to talk about are Hyperfuse editions of the Air Max. Hyperfuse is a relatively recent technological upgrade by Nike having to do with the upper of the shoe. And it takes 3 different layers, fuses them together, and it makes the shoe very lightweight and breathable and seamless. Let's look over here at the blue pair of Hyperfuse Air Max 1s. I want you to notice on the box that the shoe's being called the Air Max 1 Hyperfuse Premium NRG. So there's that Nike Research Group thing again. Notice that they're calling the shoe the Hyperfuse, and this was a 2012 release. Let's work our way over to the next 2012 release. One of the things that drives me crazy about Nike are the inconsistencies. We saw a minute ago 2012 Hyperfuse. Look at the box here. Air Max 1 Fuse. Same technology, different name. it makes it very difficult for sneakerheads and sneaker collectors to really know what's going on when Nike's calling the same shoe and the same technology different names. I just went on a cross-country road trip, checked out about 40 different Nike factory stores, and they had this pair of Air Max 1 Fuses at about 10 different stores for $89.99. This pair was released alongside the very first colorway of the Air Max 2013. I remember when those shoes came out, I wanted to get both of them and sort of passed on them, and I felt very lucky to run across this shoe at the outlet for $89.99. So from the blue Hyperfuse edition to the silver Fuse edition, let's work our way to the last two pairs that are being called Nike Air Max 1 Hype QS. Now they're calling it Hype. So we've already seen that this new technology is being called by Nike Hype, Fuse, and Hyperfuse. Very confusing. I wish they would just get together, have a meeting, and stick with one name and go with it going forward. Anyway, these two shoes were released on December 31st, 2013. What a perfect New Year's Eve present to buy for yourself. I bought them on Nike.com at 5 o'clock in the morning. Was very stoked to get both pairs. And these shoes are reminiscent of the Nike Discos that we looked at earlier. And of course, they have Hyperfuse uppers. And check out these soles. Super cool, glitter on there. These, I guess, aren't made for dancing, just like the original Discos, but again, the blue ones are going to have that glitter. Very, very good looking shoe. Seamless Hyperfuse uppers. I hope you've enjoyed going back in time with me to the 70s, checking out the Discos, and then watching the evolution of the Air Max 1 going back to the 70s. So I guess the only thing left for us to do is break out the disco ball. You know the ShoeZeum had a bunch of shoes with toys and props that brought the shoes to life. So going back to the 70s would not be complete without a spinning, revolving disco ball. Boom, there you have it.